Welcome to Wish I Had Known, the show where hindsight meets insight. Host Jody Lamb has worn many hats in the world of finance, from navigating the intricacies of financial planning to unraveling the mysteries of insurance claims and diving deep into the realm of structured settlements. Each episode explores the topics that make you say, if only I had known this sooner. Join the conversation as we uncover the insights that can make all the difference. This is Wish I Had Known, because knowledge is power and hindsight is 20/20.
Welcome back to another episode of Wish I Had Known. Today, we are joined by the host of Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner, professional caregivers helping family caregivers provide safe care. Today, we've got Cindy and Christina Hardin-Weiss. Cindy, a physical therapist, and Christina, a speech therapist, to share their information and their Wish I Had Known details so you can help others either in your profession, your friends, your family, anyone who might be in a situation where they're providing caregiving to family members and or loved ones. Welcome to the show, Cindy and Christina.
Thanks, Jody. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it.
Yes, absolutely.
This is such a great, we're so happy that we get to be on here because, well, like we were saying earlier, we hear that I wish I would have known. We hear it a lot from a lot of our viewers and stuff. So we appreciate the opportunity to kind of get to address that. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, I love it. You guys are internet sensations. I mean, I know what the challenge is talking about structured settlements is.
Yeah.
In my world, it's not really super fun and exciting. So when you talk about like helping elderly or helping people in recovery, sometimes that can kind of be less than a sexy topic. But you guys make it fun. You make it relatable, and you guys are interesting to watch, and I love to be able to have this opportunity to have you on the show because I think you really do have a lot of important information to share, not only to those in the claims, in the legal, in the financial world, but everybody. Right. Everyone's going to be touched at some point, whether in our own needs or those for our family or those we love, for ongoing caregiving services.
Absolutely.
So let's stop. Let's take a moment to talk about you.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself and the work that you do and what brought you into the work that brings us here today.
Mm-hmm. You will start, Cindy?
Yeah, we are, like you said, Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner. I'm a physical therapist. I have been practicing for about 30 years. The majority of my time has been spent in home health. I love being in people's homes because it's their home. They're more natural. You really get to know them.
It's their territory.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And speaking of home, that's one of our big missions is people want to age in place. People love to be at home. So that's part of our mission is to try to keep them there as long as we can. Yeah. And keep them safe.
And I'm Christina. I'm a speech therapist. I've been a speech therapist for probably maybe about 25 years. The majority of my career has been in long-term care. I work with people that have swallowing difficulties. People, when they hear speech therapist, they always think speech, right? And I always get the people go, oh yeah, I had a speech therapist when I was in school. I couldn't say my S's or my L's or my R's. Right. And so when I go in and introduce myself, most of the time it's to an adult, right? In a long-term care facility. And they're like, honey, I don't have any problems talking whatsoever. So with speech therapy, we address more than just speech and language. We also address people that have difficulty swallowing. Maybe they had a stroke and they have difficulty swallowing. We have to help with that. Or people with dementia. I love working with people with dementia, Jody. It is one of my favorite things. And so I spent a lot of time working with my patients in the memory care units. So, so that's what I do. And then, so Cindy and I actually started Adaptive Equipment and Caregiving Corner in 2015. We were both in home health at the time, and we would go into people's homes, and you get those same questions over and over again, the frequently asked questions, right? So we thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we just made some quick little videos that we'd answer those frequently asked questions to show people how to use a piece of adaptive equipment or some kind of technique. And then, so we would put those out on YouTube. And then what we would do would be take our laptop and set up the family caregiver or the patient with those videos. They were usually we try to keep them short, around 5 minutes, let them watch that. And then we would do paperwork that we normally would have to take home to do after work. So we got to do that paperwork and actually not have to take it home with us.
And educate.
And educate. And then they got to watch the video. And then after the video was done, they would ask us questions about that. And then we got an opportunity to leave that video behind because it was on YouTube, right? So they could watch it as much or as little as they wanted. So, and then we could come back and answer questions about it. In 2018, we started getting some traction with our videos. And so we decided to have put those videos behind a subscription wall, a paid wall. And we started using our YouTube platform as product review videos. Because the other thing we found out going into people's homes and working with the family caregivers is that we knew that there were products or pieces of equipment that would help their caregiving journey, help make it last longer, because caregiving is hard on a body. Mm-hmm. And if there's the right tool or a tool that we could recommend for them that would help make that caregiving journey last longer, then that's what we were all about. So now our YouTube channel kind of turned into more of those product review videos so that, people could go in. You could buy any of this stuff online, but just because you buy it and you can't have access to it doesn't mean you know how to use it safely, right? Some of these pieces of equipment you could actually injure yourself if you're not using it safely. So that's kind of what we did. And now we're on several different social media platforms. And so that's kind of what we do. Yeah. We're on YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, and we're even on TikTok, Jody. 2 old ladies on TikTok.
Right.
You guys were trendsetters long before this was popular. Hats off to you. Here I am just now showing up on video. You're nearly 10 years into this and reaching audiences with evergreen content. You're working smarter, not harder. Like, not only is this just good business practice, but you actually are providing information for people for years to come to be able to, to live lives, of a little bit more independence and dignity. And, they might always have that resource to go back to. I will share that I had a family member who was a quadriplegic. Mm-hmm. We would always have reference of different new gadgets and things and stuff. And it comes in a box, you're like, now what?
What do I do with this?
And so to have that resource of is this a good product?
Right.
Does it work? How do I use it? That's a really great resource to be able to share for injured parties.
Yeah.
And in my world, injured parties are who I work with. Probably maybe on the at some point we might have overlap. You deal with aging and that sort of thing. But for traumatic brain injuries, I could see them needing the physical therapy or recovery from physical injury, for speech therapy and the physical for different components of different types of injuries. And they might see you on the front end or even on the long end, long after their case settles. So, whether we're dealing with a claim or whether we're dealing with just helping our parents or someone that we love, this is a lot of great information that you're sharing. So what are resources that caregivers should know about? Can you kind of just insight or some experience, information based on your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we usually have 3 resources that we always want to point out to people, the availability. We actually have them listed on our website, on our resource page, just because they're just good for our population to know. The first one, what we have on there is my goodness, my brain is is going away. But assistive technology, yes. We actually work for the assistive technology program in Illinois. Every state has one. And they have to have a few different programs available for the residents of their state. So one of them has to be a demonstration center where people can go and see different types of equipment. They also have to have a loan program where they can loan out equipment so that people can maybe try it before they buy it, especially the expensive types of equipment. And then they also have to have a reuse program. And it's kind of like a medical lending closet that provides some of this equipment for free, to the residents of Illinois
or to their state, wherever. So the resource on our page, the resource on our page is actually a national directory. So if you want to find out who your assistive technology program is, go to our resource page on our website, aecorner.com, and then click on the directory link. And then I think it's listed by state. So then you just put in your state and they will tell you who your area or who your assistive technology program is.
Right.
And Cindy, Christina, that's like a mic drop moment there.
Yeah.
I mean, you just spoke to every attorney, every injured party, as far as anyone who is in this position in their life where they need to have these conversations and resources. That sounds like a phenomenal
and it's a well-kept
database.
secret, Jody. That's the thing, is that a lot of people don't know. And for what we always say with our Illinois Assistive Technology Program is we have to be everything to everybody in Illinois, regardless of age or disability. So, I mean, that right there, Jody, hits what you're talking about. It covers everything. Our Illinois Assistive Technology Program, we even have a makers program. So we have probably 4 or 5 3D printers where we will work with residents in Illinois to try to customize products that can be made or 3D printed for their needs. For example, I have a twin sister and she has cerebral palsy. She bought a car and she couldn't get the gas cap off because it was too hard and her grip strength was weak. So she reached out to the Illinois Assistive Technology Program and they created a gas cap handle for her. It looked like a T, and they found out the make of her car, and then they 3D printed this handle and it fit right over her gas cap, and it made the surface area bigger. The handle was bigger. And so the leverage, it made it easier for her to twist that gas cap off. And so again, it helped her maintain her functional independence, put gas in her car so she could keep going to work and, working and being contributing to her community. So the assistive technology program is such a well-kept secret. Right. But we want to change that. So that's why we put the directory on our website. And so the second resource that we think every caregiver needs to know about is the Area Agency on Aging. An Area Agency on Aging is usually a not-for-profit. Every state has a handful of them. And here in Illinois, we have 13. I think in Missouri, our neighboring state, they have, 10. But it's meant for seniors. But you need to reach out to them and find out what kind of programs that they have available. They'll help kind of walk you as a caregiver or your loved one through the process and find out what programs that you might be eligible for as a caregiver or your loved one might be eligible for. And right now, as for quite some time, everybody wants to age in place. And that's what these area agencies on aging want to do, is help you age in place, stay safely at home, and help caregivers that are helping you age safely in place. So that's the Area Agency on Aging. We have that directory on there as well. You would type in your city and state and maybe a zip code. Right. And they'll tell you who your AAA is.
And one thing to note too is that they often have resources for caregivers that are like for grandparents that are having to take care of a grandchild or something like that. So the grandparents are not actually the ones in need as far as the individuals in need, but they are the caregivers. So they have a lot of different resources for that as well.
Yeah. You want to tell them about the third one?
Yes. So then the other directory we have is just a national directory on lending closets. It's again for medical equipment. And most of those are not for profit, and you they refurbish the equipment, they sanitize the equipment, and they loan it out for free or for minimal cost. And we've got a directory for that on our website as well. That again is a good place to find those things that aren't covered by insurance, or those bigger items that you may need to try out before you would purchase something like that.
Try it before you buy it.
That's exactly right.
See if it fits in with you. See if it fits in with your lifestyle, right?
Right.
Because maybe it doesn't fit in with your lifestyle, and then you can just return it if it doesn't. So those are really great resources that, I think, caregivers need to know about,
right.
And know that, maybe keep it in the back of your mind. And then if there's something that you need, go and check that resource and get involved with those organizations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Great information. We're going to put all links into the comments and maybe a QR code so that we can get everybody accessibility to that information. You said that low cost or no cost, do these programs work with health insurance or Medicare, Medicaid, or are these outside of those programs?
Yeah, they're usually outside of the programs, Jody. For example, the lending closet, it's such a win-win situation when it comes to the lending closets, because people, let's say, everybody's got a walker or a cane or some crutches tucked back in the closet that maybe they had an injury and they don't use them anymore. The lending closet's a great place to donate those, so you can, get some more space back in your home. But also it keeps it out of the landfill.
Yeah.
So instead of throwing it away and keeping it, and you could keep it out of the landfill, then even if it doesn't work, or what the lending closet will do is they will recycle it, keep it out of the landfill, and then that money that they get, they put back into their not-for-profit. So, it's just such a win-win situation when it comes to the lending closets, or any of these programs that have refurbished equipment. It's just, even if you don't need it, if you know somebody that's got a piece of equipment, donate it to them, to your local lending closet.
Right.
It's just a great situation to be in. Lots of times those lending closets will have equipment drives. I know the one in St. Louis that Cindy and I work with, they have an equipment drive twice a year. So, while you're out running your chores on a Saturday, you've got a walker that, great grandpa used to use, that, or a set of crutches that are still wooden from a million years ago, just donate them to your local lending closet. There would be a lot of people in that community that could use it.
Right. Jody, too, with the lending closets, the thing that I really like about it is, in therapy, you have somebody come home, they have to have a wheelchair, but your goal is to get them up and get them walking with a walker, and that's the next step. But a lot of times the insurance will only pay for one of those items. So they may only pay for a wheelchair, and it's crazy. I can tell you. I won't get on my soapbox over that.
Sense.
But a lending closet is a great place to go then for that other piece. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, if you can get the bigger piece cut, you have to kind of balance that, because if you have a copay on the bigger piece, you may want to try to get that from the lending closet. It depends on what your copay is going to be. But you can really use that lending closet to supplement some of the items that you may need to try.
Yeah, and some of the pieces that they have, if it's a bigger lending closet, Jody, they have like hospital beds and lift chairs and stuff like that. So we're not talking just about a wheelchair or a walker or a cane. We're talking about some pretty big pieces of durable medical equipment.
And not everything's going to be covered by Medicare or Medicaid. So that out-of-pocket expense is huge to people, whether they have settled a case and they're trying to maximize their settlement dollars, or they're just aging and trying to help their parents or a loved one be able to be comfortable in their home so that they can, live their final days or their years in dignity and have that resource available. I absolutely have never heard of this. And I think that this is extremely this is extremely valuable information for everybody, because at some point in time, we're going to have these conversations.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. Whether it's, especially like now with the sandwich generation, you have young children that you're raising, and then you have aging parents that you're caring for, that gets expensive. Caregiving alone is expensive, but having, being a caregiver to young adults and then to young children and then to aging adults, that's really going to, wear on a person's pocketbook, so we hear that all the time, and we're just glad that we can get that resource out there to people to know that it's out there, that it's a thing. You could also check with maybe a veterans of the VFW, check with some kind of fraternal organization in your community, check with, lots of times like a hospice company. We know lots of families that whenever their loved one passes away, they don't know what to do with the equipment. Then, you could check with the hospice. Maybe the hospice has a lending closet, kind of an informal lending closet. So, yeah,
it's lots of resources.
Lots of resources out there. Yeah, and reach out to us. You don't have to do this alone. There's so many people in this industry that are just want to help.
Right.
Don't do it alone. Reach out to people. People want to help.
Okay, this is a great opportunity. How do we find you, Cindy and Christina?
Go ahead. You can find us at aecorner.com. We have a contact page on there. I think our phone number's on there too.
Yeah.
Our business phone number. Call us if you want us. Yeah. You can email us. There is so much stuff as far as equipment out there, and there's so many things that can be helpful. A lot of times we get people that reach out and say, well, I've got this situation. Is there something out here that could help us? We don't know everything. We just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
But we do a lot of research into things and to see what's out there. We're kind of like kids in a candy shop with all of the equipment. I love, that's one of my most favorite things, secondary to the education. But one thing when we're talking about all this equipment and one of the biggest things that we always educate on is, our business has kind of been compared to, needing a roofer. You don't go searching for a roofer until you have a leak in your house. And it's kind of like what people do, for healthcare sometimes. We are constantly preaching about being proactive, especially with aging. Especially with, in some of the cases with settlements, if there has been an injury and you know that you're bringing your loved one home, let's be proactive. Let's not get them there and then decide, oh no, the toilet is too low for me to get them off of, or, they don't have a comfortable chair to sit in because I can't get them up. We're really advocates of being proactive, especially with home safety and making, especially those top areas like the toilet, like the comfy chair, like the bed, making those accessible for your loved ones when they get home.
Just make that transition back to home from a nursing home or a healthcare facility back to home. Make that transition more successful by checking the toilet height, checking the bed height, checking their comfy chair height, because there has to be nothing worse than getting on the toilet and you can't get off of it.
Right.
And now you're tired and you want to get in bed and you can't get into bed because it's so tall. You got a pole vault to get into it.
Right.
So checking at least those 3 areas, we are huge proponents of at least check those 3 areas, if not checking the whole house for safety before you bring your loved one home from a healthcare facility.
Well, you guys are internet sensations 10 years in the making here. There's no shortage of video content. So even learning like how to use a walker, or how to use a cane, or how to use certain things, those are already available to us to go on your website and find that. You're on TikTok, you're on Instagram. You girls get around. I applaud you. Congratulations. You are well ahead of your time.
Thank you. We appreciate it. It's like I was saying earlier, to hear a caregiver tell us, I wish I would have known that this resource was available whenever I was a caregiver. It's like a dagger to the heart because, again, we're out here. We've got this stuff out here. We want people to consume this content so that they know and be prepared. And, so help us spread the word. Go to aecorner.com, find the videos. And if it's not something that you need, go to our YouTube channel and share any of the videos. Right. I'm sure you know somebody that might need, something, or at least some kind of a tip or a trick that we've gone through in a video. So,
Absolutely. Off the top of my head, I know a couple people that I'm already going to be starting to send stuff to.
Excellent.
You guys, it was amazing. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We've shared how to find you. Do you have any parting comments or thoughts that you'd like to share the audience member with?
I always share with mine, if you are a caregiver and you are caring for a loved one, make sure that you are letting them participate. in their care as much as they can, because it's going to benefit them as far as dignity and independence. And it's also going to benefit you as a caregiver, as far as the help.
Yeah.
So,
and I always say, my big thing is you're not in this alone. You don't have to do this alone. There's a bunch of resources out there. Please reach out and ask for help, because at times, like, especially family members, if you're, talk to your family members, to neighbors and stuff. When somebody's going through something and you're on the outside looking in, it makes you feel helpless, so ask people. They want to feel helpful, and it's a win-win situation. Then you're allowing somebody to help you, and it makes them feel helpful, and you're getting your needs met as a caregiver and for your loved one as well.
Amazing. Thank you guys so much for sharing this information. I have learned a lot. I have no doubt this is information that I can apply in my business. And certainly I think a lot of people can relate to this as well. So we look forward to catching you on your social platforms.
Excellent.
And appreciate you joining us for another episode of Wish I Had Known. If you have any other additional questions, or any thoughts or questions that you want to ask, or have ideas that you want to talk about, let's ask at the hashtag Ask Jody. We can certainly look forward to having that conversation, seeing how we can support you and connect with the appropriate people to assist in your future needs. All right, guys, that was another episode. Thank you for joining us, and look forward to seeing you next week.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. Please like, share, and subscribe so you can hear all of Jody's chats, so you don't have to say, "Wish I had known."